Sometimes it's the smallest moments that end up being the most tragic. Just one decision that changes absolutely everything. Today, we're diving into one of those stories. It's heartbreaking for sure, but it holds a critical lesson that every single one of us really needs to hear. So let's unpack what happened.
So this is the headline that it stopped me in my tracks. A 22-year-old kabaddi player, an athlete at the absolute peak of his game, lost his life to rabies. The shock of that is just so immediate, and it raises a huge question. How does that even happen? Seriously, how can something that seems so small, so insignificant, a little bite from a puppy, end up killing a healthy young man who had his whole life ahead of him? That's the question we're going to answer right now.
To really get the lesson here, we have to understand the person. This isn't just another statistic. It's the story of a young man named Brijesh Solanki. Just think about that for a second. A kabaddi player? We're talking about someone whose life is built on strength, on agility, on resilience. He was young, he was strong, and his future was wide open. And that contrast between this vibrant, healthy person and this awful disease, well, that's what makes this story so incredibly jarring.
So, what went wrong? Well, the tragedy wasn't some big, dramatic event. It was actually a chain reaction of what looked like small, unimportant moments that, together, created a fatal outcome. It all started so simply. Step 1, a bite from a puppy. Then came step 2, the crucial assumption. He thought the injury was minor. And that single thought led directly to the final fatal step, inaction. Because he figured it was no big deal, he didn't get vaccinated. 3 simple steps, 1 catastrophic result. And right here, this is the deadly gap between what we think is happening and what's really happening. The perception was, hey, it's a minor injury from a little puppy. But the reality? It was a life-threatening event that needed immediate action. The failure to see that reality, that's the absolute heart of this tragedy. So what was this unseen danger? The thing lurking behind that quote-unquote minor injury? Okay, let's peel back the layers here and look at the science.
Rabies. It's a word we've all heard, but maybe we don't fully grasp just how severe it is. Here's the terrifying truth. Once symptoms of rabies actually appear, the disease is nearly 100% fatal. There is no cure. The only weapon we have is prevention. The one thing that could have saved Brijesh Solanki's life was the rabies vaccine. And it's so important to get this. It isn't a cure. It's a preventative measure that you take after you've been exposed, like from an animal bite, to stop the virus before it ever gets a chance to take hold. It is the single most critical thing you can do. This is not just some sad story you hear on the news. Brijesh Solanki's death is an urgent, powerful lesson for every single one of us. It's all about what we do, what you do, in those crucial moments right after an encounter with an animal. The source material really says it perfectly. This tragedy highlights the urgent need for awareness and quick treatment after any animal bite. It's about knowing the risk and acting fast. So the big question is, what should that action look like? Okay, this is the key takeaway. The big lesson here is that we have to completely reframe how we think about animal bites. You have to treat every single bite as a serious event. This whole idea of a minor bite is so dangerously misleading, it doesn't even exist. Your immediate response should always be to get medical care. Don't wait, don't try to judge it yourself, just go. Because that last point, vaccination, it's not just a suggestion. It is prevention. It's your lifeline. So we're going to end with this question, and by now, I think we all know the answer. The one mistake you absolutely cannot afford to make is assuming it's minor. It's delaying action, it's underestimating the risk. Brijesh Solanki's story is a tragic, painful reminder that when you're facing a potential rabies exposure, hesitation can be fatal.